Going Through the Fires of Life with Jesus by Pastor Robert McKim. Chapter 19. Moving into an apartment in Scio, Ohio, that began another new chapter in my life. I got an apartment in Scio, Ohio in April of 2006. Before I moved into my new apartment in Scio, Ohio, I volunteered with the Coshington for their DAT team. After moving there, I tried to volunteer with the Muskingum Lakes chapter of the Red Cross, Tuscarawas, Harrison, and Carroll counties, but I didn't get an answer back from the many applications I put in with them. When I moved into my new apartment, the manager, who said he was a Christian, told me that since I was a man, that I could fix things around there. He smoked, rubbed snuff, and chewed tobacco, and yet he called himself a Christian. As I was putting food in the pantry, I found a little piece of paper that had a list of everything that was wrong with the apartment. I took the paper to show the manager. The previous tenant's mother was in the office as I went in, and the manager said to her, "Look what your daughter left for him to find." I had to fix the phone junction box in the kitchen because it was hanging out the wall. I also had to have the phone company to come in and fix the one in the bedroom because it wasn't working. I found out that there was no connection in the wall in the bedroom, and I had to buy one to have the phone repairman to put in. The repairman also found out that there were two phone lines coming into the apartment. He told me that the other line was in the box in the living room across the wall from the one in the bedroom. I started dating again and met 3 other women online. One woman wanted me to wait to see her so she can lose weight before I met her. She was trying to control me by telling other people that we were a couple in a chat room where we met. I told her that it will not work, and I stopped talking to her. I met another woman north of Columbus, Ohio. She was in a wheelchair and had spina bifida. I dated her for a year. I was going to the Belmont Technical College in August of 2007 for a degree in mental health before I met her. I was going over to her house on weekends and in between quarters. She wanted me to move over near her so we could be closer together, but I told her that I didn't want to move till I got my degree. I broke it off with her. I met another woman in Canton, Ohio. I went to her apartment. I found out that she was married, and she wanted an extra man for her and her husband, who was bisexual. I told them that I was not bi, but they wouldn't take no for an answer. I had my first 3-way, and I left. After that, my ex-wife wanted me back in her life again. I was going over to be with her during the weekends of the month. Till there was a night when my friend stayed over because he was drinking way too much, and he wouldn't stop talking about how my ex-wife told him that I was not helping around there like I should, and that she wanted me to help with paying bills more. I kept telling him that I had an apartment to pay for, and I wanted to get sleep, and Aunt Thelma needed to go to bed to go to work. My ex-wife was letting him to go on and on and on. After returning home, she told me that her ex-boyfriend, who was gay, was back in town, and she was seeing him again. I was working on my associate's degree, and I decided to continue going to Belmont Technical College for my degree. While I was going to college, the manager would keep asking me why I was going to college. He would tell me that I shouldn't worry about getting a degree in psychology because a minister don't need to know that psychology. I lived in the apartment for 4 years, and one evening during a thunderstorm, my computer was hit twice through the phone line. I had a surge protector on it that paid for a new computer. I started to visit a next-door neighbor woman, and we became friends, just good friends. She would fix supper one night, or order pizza, or have me go get something at the dairy bar in Scio, Ohio. I would also fix supper and take it over, and we would sit and watch TV and talk. She would encourage me to keep looking for someone. She once told me that I might find someone in college to be with. I was looking, but no one stood out or even wanted to be friends hardly. There was this one woman that I was to partner up with in class, but something was said between some other people, and she quit coming to class, and I had to work by myself. People were more into wanting to just get through class and get back home. I did have some friends in college. One girl was getting married, and I overheard her talking that the minister she wanted backed out. I told her I was a minister and licensed to marry. She asked me if I would do an outside wedding on Halloween. I told her I would, and she gave me the time and told me where she was having it. There were others who I got along with, but nothing like to have a personal relationship with. After living there for 2 years, I met my fiancée/wife that I am with now on another online dating website. We met and she moved in with me in June 29th, 2008. After she moved in with me, our rent went up more than double. She is also disabled with cerebral palsy, but the manager kept saying that there can be only one person in the household eligible for the disability discount. After I met Renee, she told me that as a young girl, she was molested by a stepfather, cousin, and a female babysitter that led her to wanting to experiment with her own sexuality with both sexes. She told me that she had experimented with one of her sisters and had a three-way with an ex-boyfriend and a female friend. She liked being used by others in bed, she said, and that led to her and I having a few three-ways with other people. Renee was having problems with anxiety and depression and kept saying that she wanted to kill herself. She went into the 10 Lakes Center twice, and then she was in the Bridgeport, Ohio hospital. We went over to her old apartment in Bloomington, Indiana, to get her things to bring back over to her new home with me. While we was there, we hooked up with one of her female friends and slept in the same bed nude, and the next morning we had sex, while the other girl watched and helped with holding my privates at times when it would come out during intercourse. After we got back, she was having more depression. I told her that I had a dream that we were with someone else, and she got sick real bad, and the doctor in my dream said that it was from having sex with more than one person at the same time. I told Renee that we needed to stop what we was doing and ask God through the love of Jesus to forgive us. Renee and I got back under the blood of Jesus again, because you can fall from grace with God and Jesus when you allow your addictions to take hold of you. She wanted someone to love her and take care of her. She was also used to everything that has happened to her back in Indiana. Renee has been with me for 3 months now, and then the effects of Hurricane Ike hit inland North America in September 2008, knocking out power for all of Ohio for a day or two, and others for a week or more. Lucky the power was off only a day in Scio, Ohio. While we were without power, the Scio, Ohio fire station was open for anyone without power. I had on my Red Cross shirt I bought when I was in Mississippi, and I told the fire chief that I've volunteered with the Red Cross and that I was a ham radio operator and offered my help. Later on September 22nd, 2008, I received a letter from the Muskingum Lakes chapter of the Red Cross telling me that they received a call from Harrison County that I was representing the American Red Cross and that since I had not been active with them, my past training is outdated. Like I said, I had been trying to apply to become a DAT volunteer with the Muskingum Lakes chapter of the Red Cross. But every time I would do the online application or stop in and apply, they would tell me that they couldn't find my application. It was making me wonder why. I was thinking that it could have been something to do with the story in the newspaper of the felony that later was dropped to a misdemeanor. It is so easy for people to forget all the good works you do and never forget that one thing you did wrong. I was having problems with black mold growing on the walls and in other places in the apartment. I went to him and he told me to wash it with bleach and water. I tried that, but it didn't work as well as using straight bleach. I was also having problems with the stove shocking me when I would clean up a spill when I was cooking. I told the manager about that, and all he told me was that they were to be getting new stoves in. There was another evening that my VCR DVD player recorder was hit by lightning through the cable line. A while back, I got a bill for the court cost that I owed in Tuscarawas County Court for $100 for the case with the threat to making a false alarm. I borrowed the money from Nelson Miller, a Mennonite pastor friend, and had paid him back some of it till I found out that she had burned my study books and degrees from the Universal Life Church. I paid a lot for my degrees, and I had to pay more money to get new copies. We went over to her parents for Christmas in 2008, and after returning home, we stopped to see my sons and my ex-wife had a girl and her husband staying with her. My ex-wife told me that she was bisexual that day, and she kissed her girlfriend on the lips. We left and went home. We went back over again in 2009 to her parents for Christmas, but we didn't get very far. We got into Indiana, and she was getting sick. Her left foot and leg was getting hot to the touch and red in color. We stopped at Major Hospital in Shelby, Indiana, and they put her in the hospital on 3 or 4 antibiotics. We were both at the hospital from Christmas Eve till the following Monday. We went on over to her parents and left on Wednesday to come home. We went back over in 2010 for her family reunion and again for Christmas. We went over early in 2011 for an early Christmas, and we were told that we were not having any family get-togethers for Christmas in 2012. My ex-wife has had many other women living with her, and she would even stay away for months at a time to be with other women. She said that she is bisexual, but I feel that she is more of a lesbian than bisexual. She has had more women in her life than men. I have felt that there was something wrong with her since she was pregnant with our first son. She would go to a friend's a lot that was a woman that tried to make a pass on me. While we were living in Scio, Ohio, we were receiving help from the Harrison County Job and Family Service for food stamps and help for gas to go to the doctor appointments. The caseworker who handled the NET, non-emergency transportation, gave me the rules where we had to let them know 3 days before the appointment, and she would call it into a gas station of our choice in Scio, Ohio. There was the Baker's IGA and Circle K. We chose Baker's IGA. Things were going great till one day on a Wednesday when the caseworker was not working that job and will not take phone calls for gas on Wednesdays. The gas was not at the IGA, so we could get the gas to get to Renee's doctor's appointment. We had to go back home and cancel the appointment because we counted on that gas to be there. The problem is that this had happened several more times. I was talking to a friend that went to Belmont Technical College that told me that she also has been having problems with getting gas from the caseworker as well. She had an appointment to take her baby to the Children's Hospital in Akron, Ohio, where she went to get the gas. It was not there. Problem is that the state's rules say that people that have their own transportation are eligible for the net. I think that the caseworker was making mistakes to get people to take the Harrison County Rural Transportation. We had to take the Harrison County Rural Transportation for every doctor appointment or use our own SSI for gas. I graduated from Belmont Technical College in June of 2010 with an associate's degree of science in mental health technology. I started an online class with University of Phoenix for a BA in psychology and human service. I only took 3 classes, then I came down with pneumonia. I was not able to be on my computer for a whole month till I felt better. During that time, I was trying to put my classes on hold. They told me I only could do that for a brief time, or I would have to withdraw. I told them that I was too weak to get on my computer to summit and work. They expect me to summit work once a day for 4 to 5 days in a week. I could not do that, and they had me to withdraw. They wanted me to pay them back the money they sent me in my overage. I am living on SSDI disability, and I could not do that. I got an attorney to get them to forgive what I owed. It took a while, but after some convincing, they forgave what they said I owed them. It was not my fault that I came down with. My fiance/wife had a case manager who was coming to see her, and she told me to make the manager clean the mold or we should move out because it was making us sick. I turned the manager into the rural development. It only made things worse with the manager. The manager came in one day and was complaining about all my stuff I have, and he was writing me up for having dirty drip pans on the stove that were so rusty that they had holes in them. There was no way to clean them because they were so thin from all the rust. He was picking on us for everything he could. I bought a small pop-up camper for my radio patrol and ministry, and the manager wrote me up for that. It was fine for him to park a school bus in the parking lot, but not a small camper that didn't weigh very much. The manager would complain about that I kept it too hot in my apartment when he would come in to write me up or work on something. I showed him that it was only 75 in the apartment. My toilet was not fastened to the floor. The bolts that held it down were rusted off. He came back in 2007 before I met my fiance/wife and told me that he had to order the parts. I went back to him from time to time, and he would say that he would have to check to see if they came. He finally got the parts in 2009 to fix the toilet. Then one day, when they were inspecting the apartment, they found that the exhaust fan in the bathroom had quit working. They had to replace it with one they took out of the bathroom in the community building. When they were working on it, they took out a gallon of water from the exhaust tube that was just placed under the insulation. The winter of 2009 to 2010 was a hard winter with lots of snow. The manager would not clear the snow off the sidewalks till it stopped snowing, and there were over 3 feet of snow on the sidewalks. He told me that I had to dig it out myself if I needed to go someplace. With the black mold and all the problems I was having with him in the apartment, I tried to write letters to the owner about the manager with no avail. I had no other choice but to take and withhold 3 months of rent to move out. Monday, June 14th, 2010. Dear Roger Perkins, I am not happy with Ernie Bradley as a manager. He told me when I moved in that since I am a man, I can fix things in my apartment. When I would go to tell him about maintenance problems at the apartment, he would take a very long time to fix it. It took him 3 years to fasten the toilet to the floor. When I had found mold in my apartment, all he would do was make me feel as though it was my fault. He never offered to have it cleaned by experts, or even to move us to another apartment till it was taken care of. I am still having mold on the window blinds that I had tried to tell him about, but he didn't want to hear it from me. He said that the mold is water under the bridge. I showed Mark one day that the paint he used on the walls was peeling off when I had tried to wash it at the head of our bed. He did come in to repaint the wall and fix my stove that mysteriously became unplugged. I came down with pneumonia back in January of this year due to the mold, and because of that, I owe University of Phoenix $1,675 for not being able to complete the course requirements. I don't feel as though I am responsible to pay that, since it was due to the mold and cleaning supplies used to clean that caused my lungs to become weak. I was also developed asthma problems due to the prolonged exposure to the mold. Sincerely, Robert L. McKim Sr., Apartment D11. Monday, June 14th, 2010. Ernie Bradley, 39450 Allensworth Drive, Scio, Ohio, 43988. Dear Ernie, I have been having problems with my kitchen stove for around 2 years now. I would get a little shocked when I would take a damp rag while the stove was on to wipe up a spill. It doesn't do it all the time, but when it did, it would tingle or send a shock up my elbow. I have been having mold problem in my apartment since I noticed it back in August of 2008. All you would do was blaming me for causing the mold and told me to clean it myself. You gave me Moldex to clean it with. Then after I calling RD and threatening to take you to court, you came in to clean and repaint the walls. I am still having mold on the window blinds and excess moisture in the windows. Therefore, according to the lease on page 6 and 7, it say that the landlord must maintain the project in a decent, safe, and sanitary condition, and that the landlord is liable under ORC on page 7 of the lease when it is in your control. I have withheld my rent in order to move out due to your violation and breach of the lease. Sincerely, Robert L. McKim Sr., Apartment D11.